Hey guys, you're back here with Credit Connector. Remember, this channel is about you guys. I'm here to empower you. I want to show you how to understand your credit, how to fix your credit, and how to go out there and leverage that credit. Also, guys, I'm still dropping my VIP mentorship. I've already done 2 classes in the mentorship, but you guys can go in there and I have tons of free info, how to repair your own credit, the best bank bonuses, and a lot of data points for free. Also, guys, if you have any friends, your relatives that don't speak English, send them to my Spanish channel, which is called Conecto de Crédito. In this video, we're going to be talking about is one of the best credit unions out there, which is number 1. And you guys love when I make these videos about your only one Navy Federal Credit Union. So what are the 5 reasons that you got denied for your loan and how to get approved next time? So I'm going to tell you why you probably got denied and how we're going to correct that so this doesn't happen to you guys again. Remember, that's why I'm here, because I always want you to go out there and win-win with that credit, guys. All right. One of the first reasons that you could have got denied is that your credit score right now is very low. That's why I always tell you, anytime you guys, and I can't get tired of explaining this, anytime you're going to go out there and apply for a credit card, a personal loan, a business loan, a car loan, a mortgage, whatever it is, a motorcycle, a boat, a trailer, a mobile home, check your credit, guys. Check your credit. It's free. Okay. You can go on any app. A lot of these apps are free. You can check your credit, I believe, weekly still at annualcredit.com. So there's tons of way to check your credit. No excuses. So if your credit score right now has tanked, it's low, that might be one reason you got denied. What can you do? Well, it all depends. Why was that credit score low? The first thing I'm going to tell you is go back and check what else is going on that credit score. What can I fix it? Okay. Let me go over everything. I'm going to talk about 6 different things and then we'll go one by one. The second thing that we're going to talk about is the reason you could have got denied is because you have too much debt. You might have heard DTI, debt to income. If 2 and 2 is not 4 or 2 and 2 adds up to 6, you're not going to get approved, guys. Remember that. If they see that right now you're only making $1,000 a month, and that's the only thing you're bringing in, and that's what it shows, and they ask you maybe for paperwork, and that's the only thing. How do you think you're going to get approved if maybe you're already maxed out in your credit cards, or if you're trying to get a personal loan and you already have, debt to income is too high? They're not going to approve you for anything else. Okay, guys? So we'll talk about that as well. Debt to income, too much debt. That's very important. The other thing we're going to talk about is limited credit history, guys. If you just started with credit, okay, let's say your credit is 6 months, a year, 2 years, and you're trying to go out there and maybe buy a car, and you're trying to get that Porsche, and this is your first car. Guys, you gotta work up that ladder first, okay? You gotta be smart. Remember, we're not in a checkers game. We're in a chess game. You gotta study the opponent. So if your credit is just starting, try to see if you have somebody that can, put you as an authorized user. Try to get some building, some credit building products. Try to build your credit. Don't just go and try to see if you can get approved for a $10,000 credit card, a $15,000 credit card when you have no credit. Okay, so or very little credit history. It's very important. That's the number 3. Number 4, insufficient income. Okay, so insufficient income that does not support the loan you're trying to get. What does that mean? Again, if you have an income, let's say, of maybe $20,000, $30,000 a year, and you're trying to get, a loan that, even a mortgage, let's say a mortgage that's $300,000-$400,000, it's too little. So you have to work your way up and you have to increase your income. There's a lot of ways that you can increase your income. I'm not going to get into it now, but there's a lot of ways, especially if you are a business owner. You can basically pay yourself. And that's a way to create more income. And that way you can show more income. Because remember, now A lot of times they want you to prove and they want you to show income. So it's really important, guys. Another thing, which is probably number one, if you got denied, any recent negative remarks on your credit. You might have had a collection, you might have turned in a phone or something, and you might have not realized that they put a collection because you owed 60 or $70, and that might be sitting in your credit. That's why we're back to number one, check your credit always. So if you have a collection, if you have a bankruptcy, or if you have something negative, or if you just had a late payment reported, you're definitely not going to get approved. So again, it all comes back, check your credit before applying, okay? And also you got to work with the banks. You got to see some banks are more lenient. So before you're going in for that loan, talk to the bank if you have a relationship manager, or Google it, see what that bank requires. Some banks are okay with bankruptcies. Some banks are okay if you have a late payment that's 24 months or older. But you cannot apply for a credit product without really knowing the data points. Know your data points, guys, okay? The sixth thing I'm going to tell you is incomplete application or incorrect information on that application can also get you denied. This is very important, okay? So either you didn't fill out everything in your application and you were just denied because the algorithm denied you, or you filled your application incorrect. And what does that mean, Jackie? Maybe, you know, you put a different address, maybe your address was spelled incorrectly. Like where I live here in Florida, we spell street, at least where I live, ST. Some people write it out, and that alone can get your application denied because something does not match, or they want to talk to you, or you're going to have to call the reconsideration hotline. So try to do everything correct. See what's on your credit report. And let's say you just changed jobs. Guys, unless you were making $20,000 and you're making $100,000 now, just stay with your old job. At least put it on there, and until you fix it in the credit bureaus, and then start using it. Okay, you remember, you want to have one name. One name. That means not Mary J. Ballar. If it's Mary J. Ballar, if that's what's on your license, that's what you always want to write. If one day you feel like just being Mary Ballar and then you don't include the J, you might get denied. And that's how your credit becomes messy. Okay. You always want to have one address, one employer, one name, and sometimes one phone number as well, because the phone number sometimes reflects on there the last phone number. So it's really important. Look at your credit, clean it up. Okay. Then going back to credit score, low credit score. You always have to see what is hurting the credit score. Do you need more history? Do you need a credit building product? What do you need to improve that? Okay. If you have too much debt, can you transfer that, to another credit card? If you have a business credit card, can you transfer it to the business side just to hide it, to hide the DTI? If you have a 401k, can you pay the debt from the 401k? And then once you get this loan, you pay back your 401k. There's a lot of ways to do it, but you got to bring down the debt to income. Limited credit history. You got to see if somebody can put you on their credit, if you can piggyback on somebody else's credit. If you're renting, maybe you can apply for something that can also, like, boom, it would, report the last 24 months of your rent. There's other ways to do it. So you got to check what works for you. Insufficient income, like I said, you have to see how you can provide more income. You have to get creative. I'm not saying to lie, just get creative. There's many ways to do it out there. And the application. This is not a race. Take your time. It's happened to me sometimes, and I've left off things that I should have, put on the credit application. Also, understand the credit application before you're doing it, because you want to make sure that when you're filling that credit application, you know exactly every answer to every question, guys. Okay. And this, sometimes on the business side, they ask for a lot of codes and this, and you don't understand what they're asking for. So Google how to fill a business, credit card, or like I said, if it's a loan, what are questions that they can ask you, and have all those answers ready. That way there's no hiccups, guys. Guys, like, subscribe to my channel, give me a comment, subscribe to my mentorship, guys, because it's still for free, and start interacting and start dropping some gems in there. Remember, this is Jackie from Credit Connector. Until next time, guys.